You know what a lot of people do? Tell me what a lot of people do when their marketing doesn't work online after 2 or 3 times.
They say, internet doesn't work. All those web geeks are trying to rob me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore.
I'm
I'm just going back to door knocking or word of mouth.
Yeah, I'm going to go word of mouth or door hangers.
I'm just going to buy leads.
I'm going to buy leads. I'm going to do this and that. So the difference, I mean, I'm telling you, as a business owner that's done this for years, who used to be in home service business, I was in home security, did 23,000 alarm system sales and installs. Everything was so marketing related that I got into marketing. And all your competition that does well online are guys that go rough and tumble, try stuff and keep moving forward. And then ultimately it is online. It is either the
learn from their mistakes and find what works.
Yeah.
And they're doing more and more correctly than you are doing.
Correct. Hey there, guys. It's Nolan Walker and Jason here, Director of Operations, and I'm one of the owners, by the way, with Plumbing Webmasters. So this one, the title is called "One of These Things Is Not Like the Other."
One of these things is not the same. I have a 4-year-old, so I can sing the song.
It's been a while, so I didn't know what to call this. I was going to call it "One of These Things Is Not Like the Other" is the one that we kind of decided on. But what's wrong with me? Why can't I win too?
That one sounded pathetic to me.
Did it? It did.
What's wrong with me?
What's different about me compared to my competition? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing this one up because I don't think people really. We talk about stuff like this all the time, but I know that people don't think quite rationally or logically about this, and it's probably the number one thing. There's lots of things that can screw the business up, as we know, right?
Yes. We won't get into that.
We're not getting into that. We've been dealing with other stuff here today.
We had a thing happen this week. We're okay.
We absolutely won't get into it, but we all know there's always something going on in the business.
Yeah.
But without marketing in check, then things don't work well. And we talk a lot about marketing because we're a marketing company, but this is why you tune in to get this perspective about it. So you have people that compete against you in your market, and they are successful because they work on their marketing.
Right.
And it seems like such a fundamental thing, but it helps to have it explained in detail like this so that you can really understand why it's so important. We had a client one time that had left and came back, and he was doing so poorly, he was thinking about moving. You remember the story, and I asked the guy.
Oh, yes, I do.
I asked the guy. I said, "Well, I can't remember his name right now, but I asked him. I said, well, is there anybody in your market that does well?" And he said, "Well, yeah, there's some people in my market that do well." I said, "Would you mind naming some of these people?" And he named about 5 people, and I jotted them down, and I began to search them on the search engine on Google. And I was like, "Okay, so are you by a computer?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "All of these people are organically optimized, show up in mapping, and about 3 of them pay for clicks."
Right.
And so they're all spending money online. How many things can you tell the people that I try on marketing?
Everything.
So
I mean, there's stuff you've never even thought about or heard of that we've tried.
yeah, like bat crazy stuff.
But
right?
the year before last, we had some very slight muttering from some corners of the industry that direct mail was doing better. We did a 10,000 postcard direct mail.
It was
phone
horrible.
calls generated 1.
I might have gotten 2,
Might
but
have been 2.
one of the guys had
That
saved.
sounds like a really sad attempt to make it
no,
sound.
I'm out.
No, Jason, it's twice that response.
It was actually 100% more than that. I was like, no, the one that came in was a guy that had cancer, and so he hadn't gone
Shouldn't
through.
be laughing at cancer.
He hadn't gone through his mail,
Oh
and
my
so he had a
gosh.
stack of mail. He'd been in the hospital with cancer, and then he called later.
Yeah.
But he was also way older and had cancer and responded to direct mail. Now, here's a point I want to make about it, though. The reason I brought it up, we happened to have had an old Rena Imaging
like 20-year-old
envelope labeling alert.
high-speed label printer.
It shot out like 3,500 or 5,000 an hour, and it's still here.
Yeah, operating that thing was like Lucy and the Chocolate Factory.
We had to get it.
Nobody got
It had
that
the old
reference.
serial port. We had to go get an old computer. Remember?
Hook up a 10-year-old.
It had like a 20. Yeah, like it looked like 400 pins in it, but it was like. Remember, it was like that long, and I don't know how many pins were in it, but we had to.
We had to call the manufacturer to try to get it running, and when we got it running on the computer we had, they were shocked that we'd gotten the thing running at all.
So
they said nobody's ever been able to get one of those.
Yeah, can y'all
running.
talk to other people?
Yeah, they asked us to consult.
To consult. No,
Boom.
no. Anyway, so we had this RENA Imaging Envelope Manager or whatever. I can't. No, that was Envelope Manager was the software that ran the RENA Imaging.
Yeah, this was the high-speed printer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so I tried it though. Because
we heard some indication. It's like, you know what? It's worth a try.
So we tried it and it didn't work. But you know what a lot of people do? Tell me what a lot of people do when their marketing doesn't work online after 2 or 3 times.
They say, internet doesn't work. All those web geeks are trying to rob me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore.
I'm
I'm just going back to door knocking or word of mouth.
Yeah, I'm going to go word of mouth or door hangers.
I'm just going to buy leads.
I'm going to buy leads. I'm going to do this and that. So the difference, I mean, I'm telling you, as a business owner that's done this for years, who used to be in home service business, I was in home security, did 23,000 alarm system sales and installs. Everything was so marketing related that I got into marketing. And all your competition that does well online are guys that go rough and tumble, try stuff and keep moving forward. And then ultimately it is online. It is either the
learn from their mistakes and find what works.
Yeah.
And they're doing more and more correctly than you are doing.
Correct. And they're trying more. And there's a lot of chatter nowadays. Everybody seems to be all up on their psychology and all that, like compared to like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But there's this new movement about making mistakes. Like the more mistakes you make, the more successful you are.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess there's not a lot of chatter about that, but there's some.
Yeah.
Like if you're not willing to make mistakes and move forward, it's not the internet works. It's the number one driver of business. And so maybe you didn't get a good digital marketing agency. Maybe you didn't spend enough money. Maybe you paid good money and it didn't work well. But internet works really, really well. You just have to keep moving forward.
Right.
So, and they don't do just one thing. And they're also not. People aren't. I don't know. They're not crazy, and they're not unreasonable people either. You know, they're not crazy, unreasonable people. Like, well, I spent $2.99. What the hell? You know. Like,
now is that $2.99 or $2?
$2.99. All right, that's a whole different story.
The thing is, you
Inside
try
joke,
it.
Jason didn't
Yeah.
explain it.
Well, if anybody's watched the podcast, they've probably heard us
I don't know if
mention
they'd heard that
We've
one or
talked
not.
about that exact thing. That whole conversation.
Yeah.
The thing is, you try it, and it doesn't work, and then you think that doesn't work. It's like, no, the company you hired didn't do it right.
Yeah, you're one step closer to figuring it out, right?
Right.
And you're like, oh, maybe I need to pay more. Maybe I need to get someone else. Maybe I need to get someone different. Is organic working well? Is my mapping? How am I doing on reviews? Do I need to get in my GMB, Google My Business account? I need to do social media. Do I need to pay? You know?
Right.
Should I use a program with it? Should I have somebody manage my pay-per-click? All those questions come up, and you get them answered as you go.
And all that you just rattled off should give you a clue of how many irons have to be in the fire.
Do I have reputation management software?
Yeah, it's not someone either is going to or probably already has, several someones have called you and said, oh, well, what you need is, and they name one thing that is the key to digital marketing. There is not one key to digital marketing. There is a big key ring with 1,000 keys.
Not only that, every year, at least, if not twice a year, you should look up and go, has anything changed?
Because it will.
Is there anything new? Right now, it's reviews related into reputation management software.
Right.
That's, to me, some of the biggest stuff going on. So it's like, okay, have I come along with the times? I'm not ready to retire yet. I don't have everything I want. I don't feel like I've left a legacy. I don't have enough money. So I can't stop marketing. I can't just stick my fingers in mirrors, and I can't just get mad. What are the other people doing? I can tell you, again, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that your competition, that has this down right. Plumbers that are marketing online and doing well are actually looking at all this and going into it and saying they're fighting and getting better and better at it. And they're showing up better online for more keywords, more mapping, more reviews. You know, they might pay for clicks, or they might pay to get in the maps. They might, who knows? You know.
Yeah. The thing is, if you were to show us my competitor is doing X on this metric, we could get with like 90% accuracy. We could tell you at a glance why. Are they showing above you on maps? Well, is their GMB done properly?
Yeah.
Do they have reviews? Are they more geographically relevant? And do they have relevant content on their website?
They're working on it regularly.
Yeah, and working on it regularly. Those are the prime. I mean, there's a whole bunch more than that, but those are the high spots of what would get them to that spot over someone else.
Yeah. Do they market other things? And you have to ask yourself whether it's worth it to you or not. I mean, I don't know, frankly, why anybody's in business if they're not focused on this all the time. This is,
right.
And you don't have to be a marketing expert. In fact, you won't be. You will not be a marketing expert all the way, but you do have to focus on it, and you do have to keep working on it. You have to get some good partners in it, like Plumbing Webmasters, to help you, or somebody, in order for it to work out well. We spend a monstrous amount of money. I don't even really want to say, but
it's a lot.
It's a lot. We spend, I don't know. I guess I will say we're well over 10,000, maybe close to 20.
Yeah.
On marketing when you count everything that we do, and that some of that, frankly, is at a discount because we're a marketing company. That's just dead labor in some of those cases.
Right. And just the whole thing about the direct marketing, the other thing that was to illustrate, or the direct mail thing, was to illustrate, stay open-minded about everything.
Right.
Because you don't know when the worm will turn and something could come back and be prominent, or something could work that maybe didn't work before. Maybe you tried Facebook advertising before and it didn't work out so well, but maybe now in your area there's more people on Facebook these days and it's a worthwhile thing to try now.
It's also mainly the reason I told it is because I don't do something and go, well, that was it, Jason, let's just close the doors.
Because I tell you what, in 3 years he's going to bring it up again and I'm going to have to do it again.
We probably won't do direct mail again.
Maybe not, but we recycle ideas, because if we had something that we tried 2 years ago and didn't work, we try to figure out why it didn't work. We do. And we say, what if we did it this slightly different way? What if we could do better?
Sometimes we do try the exact same thing again just because it's 3 years later.
Yeah, and you just don't know. If you're having a lull and you can't explain it any other way,
but there's some base fundamentals that everybody should do. That everybody does, not everybody, but almost everybody does such a piss poor job of. It's just reprehensible. Yeah. And plumbers will quit marketing properly because they give up, throw their fingers in the air and get exasperated. Right. But business is tough. We were just joking about something. We're not going to tell you what happened, but we had a major debacle that we had to deal with, and it's been 2 days, and we dealt with it. We don't just go out of business. Yeah. But for some reason, when it comes to marketing, and I don't know why, there's too many levels of separation to understanding online what the marketing does. And so it pisses people off. They don't want to sit down and spend the time. You don't have to technically understand what it is, but you can't give up on it and say, I'm not going to. So the fundamental stuff that should be done is online for as many keywords organically as somebody can get, and on as many map positions as someone can get, and review and reputation management integrated as much as you can, because those are the items that are the organic items that are set up, and then somebody should look into and try to pay for some, whether it's pay-per-click on Google or whether it's paying for some leads. Right. And then every once in a while, you hate the lead companies, fine, go try one every once in a while again. That doesn't even have anything to do with us. Try something again, a new one came up, try that. Yeah,
maybe a new one's getting started up and they've got a better deal. You might squeeze some business out of it.
Guys, we try new marketing stuff on a weekly basis all the time.
We have multiple phone calls, meetings every week to try to figure out. I mean, us sitting here doing this came out of a series of discussions like that. That's the only reason we're sitting here.
I have conversations daily.
Yeah.
That's how my day. So for me, that's how my day starts out every day.
Yeah.
I get ready. Sip green tea at home. I get on my car and I make my first call.
Yeah.
And I can tell you more stuff I do at home if you like.
Please do not. I have coffee.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I would love to have coffee, man, but it just jacks my system too much, you know. It just does. So I don't know what happened to me.
He's delicate.
I got old and had to quit drinking coffee, man.
I'm older than you.
Yeah, but your system evidently can handle it. I don't know. You're probably doing that. What is that? What do they call it? That buckshot coffee, or what do they call it? Gunpowder coffee. Or you like drop like fat in it or something. You ever had that before?
Oh,
You
the
ever heard of that?
bulletproof?
Bulletproof.
No.
Bulletproof.
No, I actually tried that once just to see what it was about.
Coffee
It was
with like straight oil dropped in it.
butter.
Butter.
It's actually butter.
It's butter.
My wife saw them at the store the other day.
Not
She
actually
held up and
buckshot.
said, "What the hell is this about?" It was butter bombs. It was these little things of butter that you drop in your coffee and they melt. And I tried it once just because.
What's it taste like?
It tastes like oily coffee. It's shit. It's horrible. I was just like, why would anybody drink that? Anybody out there drinks it? I'm sorry, but it's nasty.
I mean, coffee's kind of like alcohol. It doesn't taste good. You have to doctor it up, you know, right?
I drink my coffee straight.
You like straight black coffee?
I put a little cream in it.
You doctor it.
Just to take just so it's has a creamier mouthfeel to it.
Yeah.
Not to change the flavor.
Right.
I could go on.
Well, that was completely. I'm telling you. So after I do my morning routine, come in. The first call I make is marketing.
Yeah.
That's all I think about, really. It's marketing because we own a marketing company. But I tell you a little bit about me because the business literally started as me being a home service business that made no money unless marketing was straight on point, and then getting in so much into it that we finally just said, well, shoot, we'll just do this for other people.
Right.
And it took forever to get to that point. But I'm telling you, it really shouldn't have anything else. Once you finish that point, it should just be a daily ritual of, is all my stuff in shape? If all your stuff is in shape, fine. You can but you do address it. You might not address it as much as I do as a plumber, but you would come in and say, every once in a while, say, okay, how's it going? Well, you know, Plumbing Webmasters is knocking it out of the park. You know, and they're doing this, that, and the other. Is there anything we should call them and ask them?
Is there more we can do? This is a call we would love to get.
Seriously,
more often.
and I know this sounds ridiculous if anybody, but it is ridiculous from our perspective. It might sound ridiculous from your perspective for me to say this, but absolutely ridiculous that somebody does so well and never says, is there more I can do?
Right.
Those guys are smart. My business has grown. I've made more money. Could they do more?
We should ask them if there's something else they
Are
could
there
try.
other things that have changed? Is there stuff that I could do to help? You know, these are things that, how often do we get that call?
Very rarely. We get calls where people are, there's a seasonal dip that everybody has and they're worried.
They want more,
And
but
we have to like listen, you know.
But people stay because we're month to month as of this airing, and we're month to month. People stay because they want to, because we help them.
Right.
So presumably those people that like us, because people stay also because they've gotten screwed around so many times that they land on us and are like, God, these guys are really handling stuff and I'm doing better.
Yeah, they're legit. They're getting.
But someone never stops to think, okay, you know, could I pay to do more? Not by the way, can I nonsensically call and yell to get more without paying anymore?
Yeah.
That's a bad call, right? It doesn't go
We
well.
do get that call.
We get that call from, I'd like to get more without paying to get any more.
I mean, we got it. We get it. Everybody would like to get more, would not have to pay more. We get that.
But there is a
But it
point
is
in
still
time to where there's
irritating.
resources, then it has to be paid to get more, right?
Right.
And then there's a thing of like, am I doing all that I could do? Is it because someone was like, well, let's take a look. Are you integrating righteous reviews? Are you getting them regular? Well, I had trouble with this. Well, let's go back and revisit that. That's the number one thing you should be doing.
Yeah, let's refresh your training. I'll
'Cause
have,
how many
I'll have,
people
I'll
are
have
doing
Leilani, the CSR, call you and.
The majority don't do it.
Correct.
Doesn't mean they don't get benefit.
We put out the new righteous reviews, and we've been trained. We have now probably trained 40 clients to use it properly.
Yep.
And only one of them
is using it every day. No, there's a few more. There's a few
Have
more.
we added something?
Yeah, yeah.
But
I was
it took
talking to someone else here
3
today.
solid months before we got one to finally get in there and do it.
So,
And it sounds like, it might sound like we're trying to throw the labor back at you guys, but some of it is simply stuff we can't do. 'cause
that's
we're
the
not on
only
your
thing,
job
though,
site.
right
Yeah.
now. That's the only major thing.
That and regular social media. Like we're not on your job site able to take a picture and post it to Facebook right there.
Right.
So,
we do
that's
Facebook ad spend management, but not
Right,
the post
right.
itself. But yeah, we're saying this to illustrate clients stay because they do get benefit. It's like there's stuff that somebody can do without money. There's stuff that they can do more with money. There's stuff that they aren't doing that they should be doing. And I'm just telling you to think about these things so that when you are trying to grow your business, you're being logical about it. And one of those things that isn't like the other is that you're not being as serious as your competition is. Somebody else has gotten dead laser and been more logical, more reasonable, thought about it longer, and taken the time to figure it out.
Right.
Instead of getting upset, pissed off, making false narratives, judgmental,
They're not above you in
Yeah.
ranking by accident.
yeah.
And by the way, it doesn't matter if you're a better plumber. Your skill as a plumber has very little to do with your Google ranking. I hate to say it, but it's still true.
It has nothing to do with it.
The only way in which it
review.
tangentially touches it is reviews.
Did you just say something dirty?
Tangential.
All right, that sounds better.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. Jason's huge words in here, man. I didn't you just need to wipe that one from your vocabulary.
It's legit, man.
I'm not even going to say it.
It means touching on an edge.
You shouldn't have said touching on anything.
Yeah,
Let's say that.
He's juvenile.
Sorry.
Anyway.
All right, go ahead.
Reviews, in a slight way, impact, can show your skill level.
Thank you for dumbing that down for the rest of us.
I dumbed that down for the host here. But but that's the only way. And your competition is probably good enough to get reviews.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be perfect, they just have to be good enough. You might be the greatest plumber that's ever walked the earth.
I think I needed to vent a little bit after the last 2 days we've had here with everything. I told this in another video the other day. People will call often. And one thing about it, by the way, one thing I don't want to ever get the feel of, we're respectful of everybody that's here, and I totally understand this mindset. I was there. Everybody starts somewhere. And it takes a long time to beat this stuff in your head. That's why it's really helpful to stop and listen to this and go, okay, well, maybe I should think about it this way. Maybe no one's onto something, not trying to be rude to people or anything like that.
Right.
I get people in different states of understanding marketing calling up. And what he's talking about is that someone's expertise has almost zero bearing on your online web presence. In fact, we talked about this the other day. I don't know if it was HVAC or this, but basically said that it doesn't have anything to do with it at all, and in all likelihood, the jerkier, worse guys are ahead of you in marketing.
Right,
Yeah.
because they spend more of their time doing marketing.
You might spend more time on expertise and other stuff, and you might be a better person, but someone else that's more aggressive and dogging business and all that stuff, they're the ones that are going to win on marketing. Doesn't mean you have to be a bad person if you're up in marketing.
Assholes win on marketing.
Why, man? Why? What? Just because I didn't jack with your genital word?
Tangential.
It's
Tangent.
tangerines
Good God.
and genitals, and somehow you came up with some fancy word to draw. I swear Jason sits back with one of those books, and learns stuff
It's called
at
a
night.
thesaurus.
Do you read that at night?
I don't have to.
Why? Jesus. Anyway, yeah, I didn't fire any synapses to learn that at all. I'm sorry. I'm going to intentionally stay ignorant towards that word. I'm just going to.
I am simply adept at communicating efficaciously.
There you go. I don't even. Whatever. But people call up and just and tell me stories about how good they are at service.
Yeah.
That's
And that's
what-
great.
And they'll tell me almost as a plea to like, if you could just tell the search engine,
If you tell Google
if
I'm
you could
a great
just
plumber.
explain it to them that I'm a good guy and I do this great work, and I'm
And
like,
you do that by doing proper marketing.
and I'll say something like, I said, I understand. No, usually I won't, because someone's actually trying to bare their soul,
Yeah.
tell this story to get help, and I don't want to sit there and dog the fact that they're a good plumber, because but and then I'll
Well, it's
explain
great
what we
that they're
do.
a good plumber.
Yeah, but they're saying this because they don't understand it.
Right.
They don't understand why, because it almost is like the public doesn't like them. You know, why don't they like me? I've worked at my craft, and they don't feel like part of society, part of the system. The system's turned on them, and it's really their misunderstanding of the marketing and everything going
Right.
on.
It's not that the public doesn't like you. It's that the public doesn't know you exist because you're not showing up high on Google search
Yeah.
results, which is how the public.
It
finds
is
you in
kind
the
of
first
sad
place.
when you think about it like this, though, because
It
I
is.
do get that conversation in a heartfelt way at least once every couple of
Like, I'm a
weeks.
master plumber. I've been working
Yeah.
for 20 years, and I've never had a dissatisfied client. And
But they're really telling me that I'm having a really hard time. I'm this great guy at this. People aren't recognizing me for it. And what they're not telling me is that they're having trouble with bills, and they used to have another truck on the road, and their wife, is concerned that they don't feel like they're providing, and they just haven't figured out marketing yet.
right.
They haven't gotten down. And I would say too that back in the day, somebody could just throw up the Yellow Page ad, be a great plumber, and throw up a couple of things, and they would grow.
And word of mouth, and they're good.
Word of mouth and some more Yellow Page ads.
But nobody talks to their neighbors anymore. There is no word of mouth.
No, the new generation doesn't talk to each other at all.
No.
It's like,
Damn, Olivia.
we
I got
could-
like 16 of them working.
we
back
could
there.
have quit
They're gonna
this.
see this. and
I
shoot
looked
me.
down at 10 minutes and we had completed our thought processes.
And we have now rambled
It's 27 minutes
for half an hour.
because you said some weird word. It went on another 10 minutes. And then
I did not say a weird word. I used a perfectly valid.
I would like for anyone
word.
to respond to this if they knew what it meant. Anybody that calls in, do you think? I don't know. But then other people would, I don't know. Luckily, we don't have any, private equity backers or anybody to judge me on this.
Yeah. It'd be like, we really need to put that bald guy in charge.
Right.
He knows all the big words.
Jesus. Oh my God! All right, I did need to laugh though, because it's been a
It's been a rough week.
little tense. But by God, we handled it.
We did.
Sort of. It's getting there.
It's getting handled.
And
It's in the process of being handled.
Stop. All right, guys. I'm sorry we couldn't explain any of that to you. But call us. We'd love to help you out. And I really want you to think about this. If you'll think about set a day aside. Put it on your Google Calendar or wherever. Remind yourself to think about your marketing once a month. And don't give up on the stuff. Those guys were just like you, except they started focusing on marketing.
Right.
Everything else is hard and easy all at the same time. You
Right.
gotta run your business and do all the other stuff. It's secondary to getting a phone call, right?
Right.
And we, of course, could help you with a bunch of it. Take it easy. You got any words to send us off here with?
Farewell.
Oh, come on.